Hi beauty. You've heard the phrase, done is better than perfect, or maybe even good enough. If you're anything like me, you may still be a little stuck in thinking perfection is an inherent personality trait, which means there's nothing to do about it. This is just the way that I am. I genuinely don't know which came first, social media or the need to be and appear perfect in everything we do. Maybe it's an innate need to be accepted and visually fit into the tribe. Beyond this though, especially as a woman, I identify with needing to not only appear polished, but also produce polished work. Sidebar, I want to get this out of the way right off the bat. Perfect does not equate to quality and vice versa. You can have exceptionally high quality without being perfect. And you can have something be considered perfect without it actually being of high quality. Just so we're clear. Okay, back to it. So, what is everyone talking about when they say done is better than perfect? Well, I can bet that instead of taking true action, instead of publishing and instead of getting your genius out into the world, you may be procrastinating and waiting for perfection on something, which means you'll likely be waiting much too long without seeing if it works, how to improve, whether people like it, any success, or ways to do it differently. Basically, you're doing a disservice to yourself, your business, your potential growth, and to all those people that are going to benefit from your absolute genius. And yes, you are a genius. Trust me. You can thank me later. Do you know what I want to get into in this video? Why are we so focused on being and producing with that perfectionist flair? Also, how to think about it differently to take more imperfect action in your life, as well as some tangible steps that you can take today to get to done instead of perfect. Sound good? Excellent. Before we get into all that mumbo jumbo, hi, I'm Michelle Poulani, your guide to all things time freedom, self-compassion, and business strategy. On this channel, you can expect philosophical musings on human behavior, sales psychology, motivation to treat yourself well, and business automation centered on marketing in an aligned way. Like this kind of stuff? Cuddle up that subscribe button for more good things. Let's dive into it. So firstly, why are we motivated to look, be, do, and all around deliver perfection? Well, kind of like I mentioned before, we do have an inherent need to fit in, to be accepted, and seen as someone who people either want to be like or that they simply admire. And social media has fueled this desire. Oh my gosh, has it bolstered the perpetual need to please, increased our comparison culture, and led us to create aesthetics that are not even real life. Hello, filters. I mean, it has some good qualities too. We're here together, right? Now, we are starting to veer away from this to some degree as consumers are looking for less refined and more raw than ever before. But perfection isn't being silenced anytime soon, not just in the media, but in how we see ourselves and expect ourselves to show up as well. As far as why we're so focused on being and producing with that perfectionist flair, it may come from childhood or needing and wanting to be validated somewhere along the line, maybe a relationship, maybe with family, maybe with friends, maybe in school. For some of us, it may come from insecurities. It may come from capitalism. It may be a source of a human desire to survive even. Perfectionism as the fittest. Overall, I do think women are often under so much more pressure to show up perfectly, physically, mentally, emotionally, and in their delivery of work. Perfectly coiffed, perfectly dressed, perfectly presented, and perfectly balanced between family, work, and lifestyle. Simply talking about it is exhausting. It's not realistic, and it's leading to less self-compassion in you and in me. It fuels the need to perform for others while overworking and being underappreciated for the value that we bring to the table. Most often, through this overreaching, we're prioritizing others' needs above our own and trying to be what they're projecting or what we assume they want to see. Remember that we've got to take responsibility in this too. It's not all about them. All in all, outside of personality, there could be a lot of reasons that you're driven to a type A perfectionist mentality. But here's the kicker. You're not often putting off the true, meaningful things that you want to get done because you want it to be perfect, or even because anyone is expecting it to be perfect. You're putting off the project, the delivery, the launch, the creation, or the finish because there's something deeper at play here. Why are you really a perfectionist when all is said and done? Because you're afraid. That's right, people. Fear. I know because I have been living in fear. We often aim for perfect because we're afraid. Afraid of what people will think of us if we don't appear a certain way. Afraid of what people will say about us if we don't deliver on a project or a deadline. Or because when we finally put it out there, what if it isn't even as good as we thought it would be? Which means insecurities, self-doubt, and performance bashing all really start to set in. So what's next once you recognize all of this? It's time to think about things a little differently. It's time to lead with purpose and not perfection. When you lead with purpose over perfectionism and reclaim your expectations, you open up the opportunities for more of what you want life to be like. More fitness, more fancy dinners, more spa days, more wealth building, more vacation, more reading, more joy, and more peace of mind. Instead of meeting someone else's expectations for perfect, you start being okay with good enough, because oftentimes it is. What if you just decided it's ready? Hit send, submit, press go, announce it. When you show up with purpose, the perfectionism starts to fade away. When you show up less worried about what you look like, messing up your words, or the fact that you didn't check all the boxes today, you start to focus on more important things. How your work is going to change lives. How you're modeling more self-compassion to others. How you're demonstrating leadership by acknowledging that we are all human. It's time to start thinking about all the ways something can be done, said, or delivered that isn't perfect. What would that look like for you? Would that mean frizzy curls? I know it is for me. Maybe that's less makeup in public, or not checking your spelling for the millionth time on a project that isn't going to print. Keeping the colors or the photo on your website as is so you can just hit publish. Not working on so much strategy behind the scenes and finally taking the steps that you've laid out for yourself. This is certainly going to look different for all of us. The important part is that you can take it in stride. If you're someone who struggles with delivering on perfectionism, I highly recommend finding small things on your task list that you can start to deliver on good enough. Getting things done that don't have to be so perfectly polished. Am I saying lose the high quality of your work? Absolutely not. I am saying when we show up collectively to our daily lives and we're expecting to deliver on perfect, we're screwing over others and ourselves, tiring ourselves out on the unimportant things, and keeping us distracted from what really matters. The tasks on your list that are truly going to set you up for success. The imperfect workout, the mostly healthy meal, the almost 8 hours of sleep, the pretty good PDF, and the nearly there schedule. Am I saying don't complete your projects? No, again, absolutely not. But I am saying ease up on the pressure you're putting on yourself. The worry that it's not ready, it's not good enough, it's not there yet. All because you're truly afraid of finishing and sharing that with the world. So remember, you're doing yourself and others a disservice. All right, so how do you do this in real life? Other than starting with the small stuff, it takes practice. It takes trying and seeing for yourself that the world will not end. That existence as you know it will not crumble down around you. It actually takes getting out there and just not being perfect, seeing what happens. I think you'll be surprised. And you know what? You're probably really going to like it. Like, love it. It's going to feel so good and so freeing. You're going to be obsessed. So, start with one thing in your life. What is one project, one article, one email, one web page, one something that you have been procrastinating on doing? I want you to block out time on your calendar, 30 minutes to 2 hours, depending, and plan to tackle it. Then, at the end of that time block, publish and send it out into the world. Oh no! Don't look it over tirelessly and don't question it. Don't even think to yourself, ugh, but if only I could change. Yes, you. I'm watching you. And then comment below with how great you feel when you do it. Share the action of a purposeful and less than perfect experience with me. I want to see it and I want to hear about it. Okay, Be free. And if you like these kinds of discussions with more on personal development, self-compassion, and taking action, follow along by cuddling up that subscribe button and join me on this journey. As always, looking forward to bringing you more philosophical chats on business ownership, self-care practices, and how to give less cares about people-pleasing so you can finally start living your life. And some intermittent strategy and online marketing systems through automation. See you in the next one.